Hello Kenyans, and thank you very much for always checking in this channel. This is a beautiful Monday, the 21st of March. By the way, we are just 3 months into the new year. What do you think is bringing the sustained attack on Raila Odinga? Because yesterday, Moses Kuria was in Muranga. Again, it was the same script on what he did, the same script like what he did on Friday. And questions have emerged. And I think now with that repetition, it seems to be a script that is well planted, by the UDA, or rather the Deputy President team, to achieve some specific political objective. And so yesterday I received an excerpt from Moody Awori's autobiography, Riding on the Tide. I think it's Riding on the Tiger, if I'm not wrong. Riding on a Tiger. Yeah, so that excerpt was sent to me by Dr. Samuel Singye. Dr. Samuel Singye is a friend, is a subscriber in this channel, and he agreed that I was just to mention his name. Yeah, Kenyan staying in US. And he sent me an excerpt of Moody Awori's autobiography. These two excerpts had very interesting understandings, or let me say very interesting political revelations. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you why, from that, I want to tell you why William Ruto is the person sending Moses Kuria. Moses Kuria's entry, or come back to Kenya Kwanza, was only approved by DP Ruto. The Rigathi Gachagua and the likes, they did not welcome Moses Kuria for their own personal reasons. And I think if you are keen, you realize that what Kuria is doing is not new. This is what Rigathi Gachagua was once tasked to do, but at some point after he dodged the race for running mate, he toned down. It is Rigathi Gachagua who used to say the way Raila is sleeping, Raila is like a dog, and all this. And I think what DP was insisting was he wanted these fellas to attack Moses Raila. Then when he realized that Rigathi Gachagua stepped down, he was left with no option but to go for Moses Kuria. So he's the person who brought back Moses Kuria in Kenya Kwanza. If you remember, I did analysis here where Kimani Chungo had questioned and told off Moses Kuria about his move back to Kenya Kwanza. Now, what DP is doing is a script that is he's borrowing from Daniel Taraitore, teacher of Moi. And he's a student of Moi. Many people will always tell you that he was. Now, if you read that story, I read that two excerpts. One is this. William Ruto, and I want to give you an understanding first. William Ruto is feeling uncomfortable with the latest truce and reconciliation between Gema and the Luo. And this is something he's borrowing from Moi. According to that autobiography, there is somebody saying, Moody Awori is saying, in 1969, after Jomo Kenyatta had a public altercation with Jaramogi in Kisumu, I think that's when they came back and did the oath that Moses Kuria was talking about, but the oath is not mentioned in that autobiography. Jomo Kenyatta arrested Jaramogi, and Jaramogi was detained for 18 months. Then when he was released in 1971, Jaramogi went to a political limbo. He was never somewhere in the public. So all through from 1971 up to 1978, and you will realize that if you read the political history of Kenya, at that point Jaramogi was not very active. It's only Raila who was now emerging because he had come from the university. So when Kibaki took over power in 1978 from from Kenyatta after Kenyatta passed on, because Kibaki was Kenyatta's vice. Moi brought back Jomo Kenyatta. Moi brought back Oginga Odinga and appointed him to head a cotton farm or cotton factory in Kisumu. Deliberately, he was bringing Jaramogi because he knew that when he was taking power, there were forces around him that did not want. Moi knew that there were forces from central Kenya who did not approve him. And these fellas would then team up with Jaramogi because Jaramogi was still a powerful leader by then. So he brought back Jaramogi so that he could work with Jaramogi in government, knowing that if Jaramogi would be out, he would have teamed up with the central Kenya, with the Gema nation, and they would have really held a very powerful opposition against him. So the reason why Moi ruled this country, according to Moody Awori, is Moi made sure that Jaramogi or the Luo Nation and Kikuyu were margin after. That is what DP is saying. That when these two people come together, he doesn't have a chance. That is something. Now, that book is also taking into account the politics of 1992. Interestingly, after the repeal of Section 2A in 1991, late 1991, Jaramogi formed the Ford Kenya. So the Ford was the opposition party and they wanted to remove Moi. And Jaramogi was close. The party was founded Jaramogi and Matiba. Then what Moi did, Moi engineered a breakup between these two fellas. Moi knew that if Jaramogi and Matiba were going to be together, he was going to be sent home. And by the way, if Jaramogi and Matiba had not separated, if they were together, they would have beaten Moi in 1992. Everyone else will always tell you, I was not part of it. But that is what that biography is saying. So what Moi did is this. By then, Kibaki was very close to him. He had demoted Kibaki from VP to health minister. That was like 1998 before. But Kibaki was in that government. And Kibaki was the gentleman politician. So what he did, immediately after that section was repealed, Kibaki, he's the person who now advised Kibaki to go and form the DP party so that Kibaki would go and vie for presidency under the Democratic Party. So people always thought that Kibaki was rejecting KANU, but Moi just wanted to make sure that he disintegrates the opposition. And the opposition by then was Gema, Luo. That was when Jaramogi and Matiba were together. That team also had Gitobi Manyara and Paul Muite. So that is what Moi did. And that is what made him not even to win. So, in 1992, Matiba went to the ballot. And when Kibaki resigned and formed his own party, Matiba became very annoyed. And that is when Matiba and Kibaki, they never saw eye to eye. Because they were like, we wanted to remove KANU, but now you are being used by KANU. And the results are showing that the votes that Matiba, Jaramogi, and Kibaki got, if they were merged, they were beyond the 1.9 million that Moi got in 1992, even though there were also the issues of malpractices. But all in all, they would have won. But Kibaki made sure that they disintegrate because Kenneth Matiba and Jaramogi fell out, and Jaramogi went to the ballot with Ford Kenya. Matiba went with Ford with Asili, I think. Ford Asili. And he engineered that breakup technically to make sure that he could not win. He did not want the merger between the two nations. That is something that William Ruto is saying. In 1997, it's still the same. The opposition was still divided. They were not together. And just to vindicate what Moody Awori is saying, you look at 2002. For them to uproot Moi, it had to take the intervention of Raila Odinga, which is now the Luo Nation and the Gema coming all together and joining up with the rest of the country. That is why I can tell you that DP Ruto doesn't want the reconciliation between the Gema and the Luo. Because according to him, that is going to seal his political fate forever. That is something that he knows very well. So, I think this is the trap. What Moses Kuria is doing is to provoke emotions. He just wants to create the animosity, and I think it's quite unfortunate, create the animosity between the two, because I was talking to a friend, I think I was asking Michelle that what happens the next day if Ruto goes to Kondele, like today, if Moses Kuria goes to Kondele, how is he going to be how is he going to be treated? What is going to be the reception? He would have engineered that, and they're maybe engineering that so that they create that animosity and break the yoke and say, look here, these people are not close to us. And that is what they want. And I'm keen to look at how Azimio is going to react to that. I think Moses Kuria is a nobody. He's a nobody. He's just an attention seeker. And literally, I don't know. So, what he's doing is they want to provoke the emotions. Let that animosity continue, because that is what DP doesn't want, the game and the Luo coming together. But let me tell you how this is going to backfire. This is going to backfire this way. What Moses Kuria is doing first is actually attracting sympathy votes to Raila Odinga. Because now everyone sees him as the victim. This is the victim card that William Ruto has been playing. But now, if you see, when he's doing this, and I have mentioned, people have always asked, why are you giving him the attention? It's not even him we are not giving him the attention, but he's saying these things in front of Deputy President. That is where we are taking an issue. He's making all these blunders standing in front of Deputy President. And Deputy President is one of the competitors. Kenyans might feel, look here, that is not what we want. Number two, I feel like the more you attack Raila Odinga, you actually erode the political messaging in UDA. And when you attack Raila Odinga, you are actually, when you attack Raila Odinga, you erode the messaging that UDA wants. So people who say that he's decampaigning William Ruto by the fact that Kenyans can't know what, like for example, he went to Gatundu, he took Ruto to Gatundu. What did he say? No one is saying about, no one knows what the agenda, no one even got the agenda. Everyone went away with the abuse. The same way to Murang'a, it was the same thing. So people don't buy it. And that is going to demean William Ruto's campaigns. He might think he's campaigning for William Ruto, but this is not it. Now, the sympathy vote and all these attacks on Raila is motivating a high voter turnout from Nyanza, because people feel like, you know what, this is not it. And what someone should actually tell Moses Kuria is some of these things. Raila Odinga is an institution. If you remove Raila Odinga's name behind Raila Odinga, there is a Luo nation there. If you remove Uhuru Kenyatta, there is the Gema nation there. That is the truth. If you remove Kalonzo Musyoka, there is the Kamba nation there. If you remove William Ruto, there is the Kalenjin nation there. So when these things happen, it's not, he might think he's attacking Raila Odinga, but Raila doesn't have a problem. Raila will not even respond to him. But the people down there, this is not something that is really, really, really conducive. Ladies and gentlemen, but that is a political script. What are your thoughts? For me, William Ruto is out to scuttle Raila and Uhuru truths. And that is why you will always, the reason why Ruto is not supporting the handshake, did not support the handshake, was not that it was skeptical. He knew that the handshake was coming to bring these two together, and he doesn't want that. With that, his politics is not going to see the light of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.